Local government aid, also called LGA, is a state general purpose aid and property tax relief tool for Minnesota cities. LGA helps cities pay for needs and services essential for a strong city, such as public safety, city streets, parks and recreation, libraries, housing, and more. LGA helps ensure all Minnesotans across the state have the opportunity to live in a vibrant community. In Minnesota, local governments have historically relied heavily on local property taxes to pay for their city needs and services. Some cities were also able to raise revenues locally through local sales and income taxes. However, concern grew regarding the disparity among the haves and have-nots. As a result, the Minnesota Miracle was instituted by the Minnesota State Legislature in the 1970s. This landmark legislation, among many other important things, restricted cities from levying local sales taxes and income taxes, and instead, started supplying substantial amounts of state money for cities to meet their increasing demand for services. The goal was to keep property taxes down by spreading money the state collects from income and sales taxes. The vision was that no matter where you happen to live in Minnesota, the quality of services should remain the same. This more than 50-year-old arrangement continues to be essential for cities, particularly for Greater Minnesota. While about 90% of cities in Minnesota receive LGA, it is especially important in Greater Minnesota, where there is less property tax wealth. For example, a 1% increase in the city property tax levy would raise $7,900 in Mountain Lake, whereas it would generate $403,000 in Minnetonka. LGA helps even out these disparities. Exactly how much a city receives in LGA depends on a complicated set of formulas. There are 3 different need formulas, one for cities under 2,500, one for cities between 2,500 and 10,000, and one for cities over 10,000 in population. The LGA formula uses need factors that are proxies for such things as the age of a city's infrastructure, its level of service need, and how many residents and visitors it services day to day. The formula then compares the calculated city need to a city's ability to pay, to then determine the overall unmet need for a city. If a city's revenue-raising abilities are greater than its calculated need, it will not receive LGA that year. If a city's unmet need is less than its prior year LGA, the city will begin to receive less LGA than the previous year. If a city's unmet need exceeds its prior year LGA, the city will receive more LGA than the previous year through an aid adjustment. As more cities continue to have rising unmet needs, the aid adjustment will continue to get smaller if the LGA allocation remains the same. Reducing the aid increases available to cities with unmet need. The LGA program is funded by a fixed pool of money, so if the state does not appropriate additional funds on a yearly basis, the change in a city's LGA is minimal. Cities receive the aid in 2 equal payments. The first in mid-July and the second in late December. While LGA is only a tiny portion of the state's overall spending, it can be up to 2/3 of a city's budget. If LGA is cut, cities would either need to raise levies, or cut services, or both. In the past, when there have been state budget deficits, the program has experienced cuts, which has been devastating to communities. One of the most important things the legislature and governor can do to help Minnesotans in every corner of the state is to continue to invest in local government aid. Local government aid is the key to strong communities and a stronger Minnesota.